I think I was 10 years old and I went on stage to make a rap and I was supposed to be paid $50. Like $50 was a lot
That's
of
big
money.
bucks, man, at that age, yeah.
And on stage, mind you, this was live on local television. There was 300 people. I cried.
Did you really? Before you started or, like, literally as it was
I
happening?
got on the stage as I was supposed to start. I cried and walked off the
I
stage.
love it. I love it.
And I didn't get the $50.
And you didn't get the 50? Well, it's on camera somewhere. So do we have that footage? Have you seen it ever,
I
or
buried it.
you buried it? Yeah. Day, it's great to have you here at Leader Pass Studios, and I can't wait to talk to you. I got a couple questions out of the gate based on your background. You are an MC. You do corporate engagements. You do all kinds of engagements, but I want to hear about your background. But you're an engineer, which to me is very unusual to have an engineer as an MC. So tell me how that happened.
Well, engineers are normally considered much more technical than social. But at the same time, that engineering background has given me the knowledge to put events into frameworks.
Okay.
Just as how when I am as an engineer building a product, everything is step by step in an agile methodology. So with that, my engineering background is actually something an advantage. And my goal is to really break that stereotype because when I get into events, I take things step by step. First step, understanding and working with the planner, seeing the balance between the crowd and the engagement. Do I need to lift their spirits? Do our things really settled and they need to be more calm? In between different spaces where there are times where there's breakdowns, what is it that I can do to engage with the crowd?
Mm.
Consistently analyzing and reframing. So that engineering background is actually something that has become my superpower.
That's awesome. I love that. So you're really, as you're even on site during the event, you're really kind of studying what's happening to put it in those frameworks, which is great because it's definitely not boring. I've seen you in action. You bring the energy, man. You definitely bring the energy, but you do it systematically, which is great.
Yeah.
That's super good. Talk about your background. Where are you from? Where's your family from? Where do you live right now?
So I currently live in Dallas, Texas. I'm originally from Cameroon. So
Okay.
both of my parents were born in Cameroon, which is in Central Africa. I was born in Lowell, Massachusetts, although I did live in Cameroon from 7th grade to 10th grade.
Oh, wow.
My parents wanted me to go and experience the culture.
Yeah.
So when I get into events, that's something that you can really tell that background and culture. That's the uniqueness and the perspective that I bring to the events.
Which is awesome. I think that is very unique. And you've done 150 plus events at this stage of this conversation. And can you remember your your very first experience? We always have that first moment of like being on stage or being in front of the crowd. What was that like?
All right. Well, it's not as great as you would think. My first experience, this was in Lowell. My father was in charge of setting up the African festival.
Okay.
And they had sponsors, and I think I was 10 years old, and I went on stage to make a rap. And I was supposed to be paid $50. Like $50 was a lot
That's
of
big
money.
bucks, man, at that age. Yeah.
And on stage, mind you, this was live on local television. There was 300 people. I cried.
Did you really? Before you started or like literally as it was
I
happening?
got on the stage as I was supposed to start. I cried and walked off the
I
stage.
love it. I love it.
And I didn't get the $50.
And you didn't get the 50? Well, it's on camera somewhere. So do we have that footage? Have you seen it ever,
I
or
buried it.
you buried it? Yeah.
And at least for me, what that has really taught me is that in all aspects, most things, you're not born with it.
Mm.
A lot of times people have that aspect and thought process that, hey, he's just got it. He was born with it. But these are things that are trained.
Mm.
And throughout my life, honestly, even from that day, I decided that being shy and nervous is not something that is serving me. And shoot, clearly I lost $50.
Yeah.
And from that day, I realized that rather than having these labels of, oh, hey, I'm shy, I'm nervous, I'm an introvert, I'm an extrovert, instead just focus on my goal and work towards it. Because as a human, as people, we are not stationary. You can continually be able to reinvent yourself.
Mhm.
And that's how I've reinvented myself as the engineer MC.
I love it. I love it. And now you've been doing this long enough and probably studied others and have some mentors in your life. What do you see as a key difference between a good MC and a great one?
I'd say a good MC keeps an event flowing, follows the script and keeps it flowing. A great MC engineers an unforgettable experience.
Mhm.
And with that, it's like, give you an example. For me, when I work, I have what I've called the tech framework, which is a little ode to my engineering background, where first off, tailored experiences for the T. Every event is different. So making sure that I'm talking with the organizers, getting to really know the staff and the audience to create an experience that is tailored to them.
Okay.
Second off, engaging experiences. As an MC, as a host, the number one thing is that engagement. People don't want to go to a dry event.
Mhm.
Even if it's something that's meant to be educational, that engagement is really how you land the mark. And then thirdly, C, creative flow. How am I able to leverage that creativity? Events don't always go as planned. And maybe a speaker is going longer, maybe a speaker is going short. How do I improvise
Mhm.
and bring something that in a way that the audience does not even know that something has happened?
Mhm.
Because as the host and MC, I kind of like to consider myself the quarterback. I'm the one that is making sure that everything is running smoothly on the front lines.
Mhm.
And then lastly, H for high impact results. If that's if it's a fundraiser, the results you're going for is to be able to raise the funds. Maybe it's a wedding, really being able to leave that unforgettable experience, or a corporate event where your goal is to create raving fans that people want to come next year and your ticket sales double.
Mhm.
So that's kind of really how I work it as a really a expert MC.
That's awesome. And when so imagine you're stepping off that stage after being the MC that's bringing the engagement, bringing that experience. What is your hope? What do you hope the audience feels, and what do you hope happens after you conclude an event like that?
I consider an event successful when the audience comes back. Actually, there's two things. The audience comes back and they ask me, "Hey, how long have you been on staff? How long have you worked
On
here?"
staff. Okay. Okay.
Or, for example, like I've hosted some weddings, and the audience might ask me, "Oh, hey, is that your cousin? Are you a part of the family?" Because I take that time to do the research
Mm.
other than quote unquote winging it, right? It's very important to be a part of the culture
Mhm.
because when the audience has that type of feedback, now it's, oh, hey, well, we need to have him here. People understand him as part and parcel of the event. And secondly, helping planners create raving fans for their event. There, depending on the event, sometimes there's people are sent to events as representatives and they don't necessarily want to go. It's like, oh, hey, well, I was sent out. But if you're able to flip that switch because your event is so great
Mhm.
that people are like, please, I want to go. I would really, really want to be over there. That is able to increase your ticket sales. And by the next year, hopefully you could have an even bigger event.
Mhm. So we began with this crying moment that you had in your first one. What's the best feedback that you've ever gotten from being an MC at an event?
Yeah. So when I hosted the Worcester African Community Education Gala, so they were raising funds for African refugees that have migrated to central Massachusetts. And during that event, first of all, I was able to help them to get to their $9 million fundraising goal.
Wow.
And the mayor of Worcester was there. And the mayor of Worcester came up to me and said that you did an amazing job. That this gala this year was one of the best, and I would genuinely love to see you come back at events in Worcester, and that he sees me being a pivotal person within the Worcester community.
Wow.
And just to get that feedback from the mayor, that just made me smile genuinely. And just knowing the impact that I was even able to help make with the organization. $9 million is not a small
No,
feat.
no.
And just thinking about the impact that that can have on the youth, knowing that my name is tied on that, that's something that just makes me smile.
That's huge, man. So if I love the beginning, I love that moment. I can picture it and being really integrated into the part of their team and their culture, which is huge. And so I know people watching this are probably thinking, how do I get this guy in here? How do I have a moment with you to where they can check you out for themselves? What's the best way for them to reach you?
Yeah, the best way to reach me, you can reach me on my website
Okay.
at youreventsmc.com.
Okay.
And then also you can, whether that's through email as well, so bookings at youreventmc.com. Those are probably the two best ways, or through social media. In Instagram, YouTube, it's all Your Event MC.
That's awesome, man. Well, it's been great having you and excited to see you in action and learn more about the impact you're going to continue to have. So thanks for being here.
All right, thank you so much.